Hey, what's up, guys? The last few days, I wish I did reactions to these movies. I've been watching the Rocky movies. I've never seen the Rocky movies in my entire life, and so that's why I wish I watched. I wish I did a reaction to them, man, because there were some crazy moments. You're yelling at the TV and everything. Rocky 1. I watched Rocky 1, I think like last year or something like that. But then this week I did, or last week I did 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Rocky Balboa. I think that came out in 2006. So as I was watching it, I like made a list of the order of my favorites to my least favorite, like, you know, the order of how I liked it. So I want to talk about that. Dude, these movies are so good, man. I always heard Rocky, like, oh my gosh, Rocky, everybody loves Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, and all that stuff, right? But another Sylvester Stallone movie I haven't seen is Rambo. So I never understood the hype, I guess, the magnitude of what is. I know Sylvester Stallone is this big actor. He's awesome. He's an action star and everything. But I didn't understand until watching Rocky, because after seeing Rocky, just seeing how awesome this franchise is, and I think he wrote all of them. Okay, yeah, here. See, okay, this is Wikipedia. I don't know how accurate this is, but Rocky 2, 3, 4, 5, and Rocky Balboa, all of those were written. The screenwriter was Sylvester Stallone, and the original story was based on a story that Sylvester Stallone wrote. So what Rocky is through and through, that came from Sylvester Stallone, and he directed 2 and 3 and Rocky Balboa. That's great, dude. I always thought Sylvester Stallone was an action star. All right, that's it. But he wrote and directed. He directed Rocky 2. Okay, I'm gonna spoil it right now. My list. Rocky 2 is my number 1. That's my number 1, man. That was such a good sequel. It might be the best sequel I've ever seen. That movie was awesome, dude. See, the thing with Rocky 2 is he's fighting the same guy he fought in the previous movie. But here's the other thing that's so awesome about these movies. Every single movie, they do a recap. They do a recap of the previous movie. So it feels like you're jumping right back in. And that does wonders for the movie, because the sequel doesn't have to stand on its own. Right? It has the foundation of the previous movie right there built in. So it's like you're jumping in, you're right in the flow of it. You know what I mean? And these movies, they go back to back to back, right? You see the ending of the previous movie, and then you see the next one. Then you see, and then the next one, you see the ending of the previous one. And you know what I mean? So that added so much. That really just threw you in, immersed you. You're back in. Let's go. You know what I mean? It gets you excited for the movie. And dude, Rocky 2 was awesome. It did everything the first movie did better. Like, you still got these, even though he won the fight in the first movie, you still felt like he was the underdog in this movie. And you still got that journey, and it was awesome, dude. Rocky 2 is my favorite one. Then right after that is Rocky 1. I mean, it's the first movie, the first time we're being introduced to the character. Dude, Rocky is such a silly guy, man. Like, what he says, the way he talks, it just adds some sincerity to the character. Not just some, it adds a whole lot of sincerity to the character. Rocky's just a really cool guy, man. The way he dresses, the way he acts, he's so down to earth. He's so sincere. He just tells it to you straight. He's honest. Like, he's a guy that you'd really want to get to know and hang out with, man. The people around him, Paulie, Rocky, Adrian, man, the relationship they have makes me want to have a girlfriend named Adrian, just so I can say, yo, Adrian. All right, so Rocky 2, Rocky 1, this might be controversial right here. Rocky Balboa, I think it came out 2006. That's my number 3. Because Rocky Balboa it captured some of that essence from Rocky 1. And I believe it's the same director as Rocky 1, so it makes sense. It captured that. It felt more like a Rocky movie than what was Rocky 5? Rocky 5 was 3 was Mr. T. 4 was, I gotta pull this up again. Clubber Lang, Mr. T. That was 3. 4 was Drago, Ivan Drago. 5 was Tommy Gunn. All right, Tommy Gunn was cool. I like Tommy Gunn. I like the name. The name Tommy Gunn is awesome. But Rocky Balboa, where he comes back, like they do that simulation, that CG fight, the AI fight. I had seen that one way back. That was Rocky Balboa was the first Rocky movie that I saw, but I didn't really remember it too much. So going in, watching it now after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was awesome. So I put Rocky Balboa as number 3, Rocky 5 as the next one, number 4. What was Rocky 5 again? Tommy Gunn. I liked that. I liked the dynamic between Tommy and him. The street fight. He still felt like the people's champion in that movie. The issues between his son and him. It was a nice story. I did like that one. And then I would put Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was Clubber Lang, Mr. T. Clubber Lang was annoying, dude. I mean, no offense to Mr. T, but I mean, the cool thing about that one was he got a fight with Apollo. He got to train with Apollo, right? You saw that relationship build and develop. Their relationship, Apollo and Rocky's relationship is awesome. I like that relationship, and we got to see that. We got to see that grow in that movie. I think it was the end of that movie where we saw Rocky and Apollo fighting at the gym. That reminded me, if you guys have seen Beyblade G Revolution, the fight between Tyson and Kai at the end, that's what it reminded me of. Speaking of that, Drago sort of reminded me of Brooklyn, right? He had this prodigy who never lost. All these Beyblade analogies in Rocky. So after that, after Rocky 5 with Brooklyn, I put Rocky 3, and then finally Rocky 4, because Rocky 4 with Drago, it felt the most dated out of all the Rocky movies to me. It felt like an 80s movie. Did it even come out in the 80s? 1985, yeah. The music, I know they didn't utilize the Rocky theme as much in that. Rocky theme is awesome, by the way. They didn't utilize the Rocky theme as much in that movie because they didn't want, I'm assuming, and it worked, they didn't want you to feel like Rocky's on top. You know, he's in a distant land. He's in Russia, so he's not home. You don't want that familiar feel, so you don't use the familiar soundtrack. You use something different, so it feels like Rocky is in isolation in some other place, like he's not in a familiar place. And you did get that. That's why it felt the most different out of all the other Rocky movies. But I was hoping, you know, when they bring out the Rocky theme in the end, like he's back on top, he's coming up in the fight, I'd feel it all come together. And but I mean, I guess I did, but it just didn't feel as much as a Rocky movie as the other movies. So, and not that it was bad. Ivan Drago was cool, but that's my list, man. Rocky 2, number 1, then Rocky 1, then Rocky Balboa, then Rocky 5, then Rocky 3, then Rocky 4. Let me know if that's a controversial list. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about that list. But man, the Rocky movies are awesome. They're really good. If you guys haven't watched them, you probably have. I mean, I'm so late to the game right now. But if you guys haven't watched Rocky or any of the Rocky movies, you guys got to. They're really good. If you are upset at the way Hollywood is going right now and you got to question what the writers are doing, like, hey, you can see the motivation behind the character because of some sort of political affiliation of the writer or some sort of message that they want to put in the movie. You're not going to get that with Rocky. the characters stayed true to themselves, and I never once did I question, was like, hey, why did they do that? Why did the writer decide to do that? That's not something Rocky would do. It felt out of place, blah, 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 blah. I never felt that once. I miss movies like that, man, where I can go in and because movies like that, you can get fully immersed and then you can critique every single little individual, tiny little detail because it feels real. Like that's what occurred in that universe, in that world, you know what I mean? In that movie. But nowadays you can't do that because when you start doing that, you realize, hey, the reason why they did that is because the writer has this sort of opinion. The reason why they did that is because they want to do this and they want to, I don't know, you know what I mean? They have like all these ulterior motives in what they're doing. It's not, they don't service the story and the characters 100%. Rocky, the Rocky franchise, they service the characters and stories 100%. Makes sense because Rocky is Sylvester Stallone's baby, right? He wrote the character, he wrote the story, and he was a screenwriter for all of them, and he directed a few of them too. So, man, props to Sylvester Stallone. I can't believe I'm only realizing this now. Like, he's actually that good. I mean, I obviously knew he was an action star, and his physique and all that stuff, but the writing and the directing, I didn't know that part, man. He's awesome. So another thing is the theme, dude. The theme for the Rocky movies is iconic. Even if you haven't seen the movies, you know the theme. And I wish movies nowadays had themes. They do, but they don't utilize them well. Actually, they're not written. I don't know, dude. Even these superhero movies, they're not memorable anymore. The themes for the characters, they don't utilize them well. And they're not, like, I want the theme to represent, like, when I hear that theme, I want to think of the character. I want that theme to embody the character. Like, it took me so long to remember Tom Holland's Spider-Man theme, and I finally did, and it's cool sounding theme, but I feel like it should be like in like a spy movie or something. I mean, it didn't feel like Spider-Man compared to like the other themes, but like Rocky's theme, it's such a good theme, man. It's like, it hypes you up, it's uplifting, it's like a celebration. Dude, it's awesome. All right, I'm rambling. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What you guys thought about the Rocky movies. If you haven't seen them, go watch them. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.